Good evening, my friends. I want to begin tonight by asking you to do something unusual. I want you to think of a memory, something that happened years ago, something good, a moment of joy, of triumph, of genuine happiness, a day when something went beautifully right. Got it? Now notice something about how that memory feels. You're not hoping it happened. You're not trying to believe it was real. You're not reaching toward it or working to maintain it. It simply is, with its own quiet, unargued, completely effortless authority. It is done. It is behind you. It is simply and permanently true. Now hold that quality, that specific, unremarkable, utterly certain quality of something completed, and let me ask you something. What if you could bring that quality to your desire? Not visualize it in the future, not affirm it in the present, but remember it with the settled, certain, already done feeling of a cherished memory as something that has already occurred. What I'm going to teach you tonight is the deepest, most penetrating technique I have ever discovered for impressing the subconscious mind. It is so simple that the complicated mind tends to overlook it entirely. And it is so effective that once you genuinely practice it, you will wonder how you ever approached manifestation any other way. I call it the technique of the thankful past. Let me first show you the problem with how most people imagine. When you desire something, wealth, health, love, a specific outcome, where in time do you place it? In the future, when I have the money, I'll feel secure. When I meet the right person, I'll be happy. When the business succeeds, I'll be grateful. When my body heals, I'll be at peace. You have been doing this your whole life. And it feels natural. Of course, desire points toward the future. That's where unfulfilled things live, in the not yet arrived. But here is what this habit is actually doing to you. Every time you project your desire into the future, you are confirming, in the most unambiguous possible language, that it is not here now. The future is the dimension of absence. And absence, placed into the fertile ground of your subconscious with the consistent, daily, faithful repetition of hoping and wanting and not yet grows more absence. The subconscious does not hear your desire. It hears your assumption. And your assumption, when you project toward the future, is, I do not have this. It is not real. It has not happened. I am waiting. And the law, which is precise and impersonal and absolutely reliable, delivers accordingly. More waiting. More not yet. More almost but not quite. This is the trap. And tonight I'm going to show you the way out of it, not by imagining differently in the future, but by remembering differently from the past. Here is the core understanding upon which everything else rests. Your subconscious mind does not think in future tense. It does not respond to I will be, or I am going to, or someday I shall. These are the grammatical structures of separation of someone who does not yet have, who is reaching toward something not yet real. The subconscious responds to what is declared as already fact. I am is powerful, it claims, present possession. But I was, I became, I received, I remember when is even more powerful, for a reason that is simple and profound. The past carries the seal of completion. When something is in the past, it is done. There is no doubt in it, no hoping, no waiting, no reaching. It simply and permanently is with the unargued certainty of all things that have already occurred. And here is the secret that changes everything. Your subconscious cannot distinguish between a memory of something that happened in linear time and a memory you have constructed in imagination. To the subconscious, which is the creative medium, the God in you, the power that produces your world, both are equally memories. Both are equally real. Both carry equal creative force. What you imagine first becomes what you remember later. Every memory you have of yesterday was, before yesterday, imagination. So why not reverse it? Why not remember first and let objective reality catch up with your memory? This is not deception. This is not denial of what is. This is creation, the purest, most direct, most powerful form of it available to a human being. Let me show you the precise difference in feeling between future visualization and past remembering, because the feeling is everything. When you visualize something in the future, even a very good visualization, there is almost always a quality of trying underneath it, a subtle tension, a reaching, a gap between here and there, between who you are and who you will be when the desire arrives. And that gap, however small, however well disguised, is the gap of separation, of not yet, of still waiting. The subconscious feels that gap even when the conscious mind is producing a beautiful scene. And what it creates from is not the scene, it is the feeling underneath the scene. Now compare this to the feeling of genuine memory. Think of something wonderful you experienced years ago. Is there tension in it? Is there reaching? Is there a gap to cross? No, there is simply that happened. I was there. It was real. It is done. This is the feeling, this specific, settled, quietly certain, effortless quality of completed fact that the technique of the thankful past is designed to produce. Not in a future you're hoping for, in a past you remember, and when your subconscious receives that signal, the signal of something already accomplished, already received, already behind you, it has no choice but to create the conditions that match it, because that is all it knows how to do. Match the assumption. Now let me give you the technique precisely. Tonight, before you sleep, do this. Choose your desire. One specific desire, not a general improvement, something specific, something you can construct a scene around. Now, and here is where this diverges from everything you have been taught. Instead of imagining this desire manifesting in the future, construct a memory of it having already occurred in the recent past. Place it 1 month ago, or 3 weeks ago, or even just 2 weeks. Whatever your mind can accept with the most naturalness, whatever timeline allows you to inhabit the memory with genuine felt sense rather than intellectual effort. And then construct the scene, not the moment of receiving, the moment after. The moment when it has been real for long enough that you are simply living in it, reflecting back on it with the warmth of something completed. Let me be specific about what this looks like. If your desire is financial, you are sitting quietly, perhaps with a cup of tea, and you are thinking back to the day the money arrived. I remember opening the email. I remember my hands shaking slightly. I remember thinking, this is real. This actually happened. I remember calling my sister. I remember she didn't believe me at first. You are not in the scene of receiving. You are in the scene of looking back at the scene of receiving, and that backward looking has the quality of memory, not visualization. If your desire is a healed body, you are looking in the mirror and you are thinking about the appointment 3 weeks ago when the doctor told you the results had changed. I remember how quietly he said it, as though he was still trying to understand it himself. I remember walking to my car and just sitting there for a while before I could drive. I remember texting my daughter. The healing is not approaching, it is behind you. If your desire is a reconciled relationship, you are having coffee and you are thinking, I remember when she called. I almost didn't answer. I didn't recognize the number. I remember her voice. I remember neither of us spoke for a moment. I remember thinking, I can't believe this is actually happening. That was 6 weeks ago, and now this is just normal. This is just how things are. Do you feel the difference? You are not hoping. You are not reaching. You are not trying to convince yourself of something you don't quite believe. You are remembering. And memory carries an authority that visualization of the future simply cannot match. Now I want to speak about the particular quality of gratitude that belongs to this technique. Because there is gratitude and then there is this gratitude. The gratitude most people practice is future gratitude dressed in present tense. Thank you that this is coming. Thank you for what I'm about to receive. And there is nothing wrong with this, it shifts the state meaningfully. But the gratitude of the thankful past is different in quality, and the difference is everything. It is the gratitude of someone who is looking back. I am so grateful that happened when it did. The timing was perfect. I am so relieved I don't have to worry about that anymore. I am so thankful it worked out exactly the way it did. Hear the past tense. Feel what it produces. This is not the gratitude of hoping. This is the gratitude of having received. The specific, warm, slightly exhaling quality of someone for whom the struggle is genuinely over, not about to be over, not hopefully going to be over, already over. That quality of feeling, the relief of completion, the warmth of looking back at something difficult that resolved, the particular piece of a problem that is now simply behind you, is one of the most powerful signals you can give your subconscious. Because it communicates with every cell and every feeling the single thing the subconscious needs to hear above all others. This is done. Let me explain what happens mechanically when you practice this. The subconscious mind is not a future thinker. It lives in the eternal now, in the dimension of what is, what has been, what is simply true. It takes the assumptions you give it and builds from them. It arranges circumstances, orchestrates events, opens doors, creates opportunities, brings people all to make your outer world match your inner conviction. When your inner conviction is, I am hoping this will happen, it builds the experience of hoping. When your inner conviction is, I am trying to believe this is coming, it builds the experience of trying. But when your inner conviction is, I remember when this happened, with the genuine, sensory, emotionally inhabited quality of actual memory, it builds the experience of having already received. It creates circumstances to match the accomplished fact you have declared. Not because it is magical, because it is law. The same law that has been operating your entire life, whether you understood it or not, simply now being worked with, consciously, deliberately, in the direction you actually want to go. I want to give you one more element that will deepen the practice considerably. When you are in the memory, when you have constructed it vividly, when you can feel the room and hear the sounds, and sense the emotional quality of that moment of fulfillment, I want you to also feel what came before it. The relief that the waiting is over, not the joy of receiving, though that is there too. The specific, particular, almost exhausted relief of someone who has been waiting and hoping and not quite trusting for a long time and can now finally let it go. I used to check my phone every morning hoping for this. I don't have to do that anymore. I used to wake up at 3 in the morning worrying about this. I haven't done that in weeks. I remember when I couldn't imagine how this would ever resolve. I couldn't see any path, and then it just resolved. This quality of contrast, the vividness of the relief that comes from having been genuinely uncertain and now being genuinely certain, is one of the most powerful elements you can include in your memory. Because relief is what the subconscious recognizes as genuine receipt. Hope is what you feel before something arrives. Relief is what you feel after. And the subconscious, which creates from your feeling, will work to produce the conditions that match the feeling of after. There is a truth underneath this entire technique that I want to name directly, because it changes how you understand what you are actually doing. The past is as fluid as the future. I know this seems impossible. We treat the past as fixed as the one thing in our experience that genuinely cannot be changed, because it is over, because it has solidified into fact. But in consciousness, in the creative medium, in the dimension where all experience is generated, the past exists only as imagination occurring in the present moment. When you remember yesterday, You are not accessing a fixed recording stored somewhere. You are imagining right now what you believe yesterday to have been. And that imaginative act is occurring in the present, the only place where anything ever occurs. This means the past is no more fixed than the future. Both are imagination, both are consciousness, both are creative. And just as you can imagine a future differently, you can imagine a past differently. You can construct a memory of the day your desire was fulfilled, make it vivid, make it real, inhabit it fully, and your subconscious will receive this as a completed fact. And from that completed fact, it will build forward into the present, into the future, into your experienced reality. You are not creating forward from where you are. You are creating forward from a point in the past that you have established in consciousness, and the present, which lies between that imagined past and your current moment, fills in. This is not deception. This is the recognition that memory and imagination are the same faculty, one moving backward in time, one moving forward, and that this faculty, directed consciously, with genuine feeling, is the most powerful creative tool a human being possesses. So here is what I am asking you to do. Tonight, before you sleep, choose your desire. One thing. Make it specific. Close your eyes and travel backward. Go to a moment 1 month ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever feels natural when this desire had already been fulfilled. Not the moment of fulfillment itself. The quiet, ordinary, of course, this is my life moment after. Build the memory. What room were you in? What time of day? What were you wearing? What could you smell? What sounds were around you? Who did you call? What did you say? What did they say back? And most importantly, how did it feel to look back from that moment and realize the waiting was over? The hoping was finished? The struggle was behind you? Feel the relief. Feel the warmth. Feel the particular quiet gratitude of someone who is no longer waiting because they have already received. Stay in that memory until it feels not exciting, not hoped for, but natural, ordinary. Simply, yes, that happened. And then fall asleep inside that feeling. Not hoping, not reaching, not visualizing forward, remembering. You have been throwing your desires into a future that never comes. Tonight, place them in a past that is already done. Feel the relief of the struggle that is over. Feel the gratitude of the gift already given. Feel the warmth of looking back at the moment everything changed. And trust with the same quiet, unremarkable certainty with which you trust all your other memories that what you have remembered in imagination will become, in its own perfect time, what you remember in fact, because the memory you created will have created the experience. The past you imagined will have become the past you lived. And you will stand in quiet wonder, knowing that you discovered one of the simplest and most powerful secrets of creation. You don't have to wait for it to arrive. You only have to remember that it already has. Good evening. This is Neville Lectures. I'll see you again in the next video.